how's everyone doing? Thanks for joining me in my small engine repair channel. Today's project is on this Craftsman 1130 two-stage snowblower. And what we're going to do to this thing today is show you how to replace the auger belt on this particular machine. Alright guys, so this is a buddy of mine's machine. He brought it in to me saying that the augers weren't turning and that he smelt some burning rubber. So in the last video, or in a previous video, we actually determined that there was something stuck in the second stage impeller down here that was preventing the augers from turning. And when the augers are not turning and they're jammed up, then this pulley right here, which is attached directly to that impeller, gets jammed up, and if this is engaged, this belt is engaged, trying to drive the impeller, then the belt is not spinning, but this guy is spinning. So that's where you're going to kind of get the burning rubber smell. So I thought, you know what, I'm just going to change the belt for him since he did smell that burning rubber. And the belt doesn't seem like it's in that bad a shape, but it does look like it's very somewhat stretched. There is supposed to be some slack here when you don't have it engaged, but I could probably get away with keeping this belt, but it's a buddy of mine, so I just want to make sure it's running in good shape for him. Anyways, this belt is so slack that you can actually just pull it off of that pulley. The problem is getting it off this pulley down here, and specifically this guard right there. That guard is attached to this tensioner, and it will open up. If you can see it down there, it does open that sort of brake slash guard, but it doesn't provide enough space here to actually get this belt off. So unfortunately for this, we're going to have to split the front end of the bucket end from sort of the base or the engine end. And to do that, you're going to have to take off 3 half-inch bolts here. Now what I'm going to try and do initially here is to just take these completely out and loosen this bottom one on both sides, so that this back end here will actually pivot, and hopefully pivot enough that we can get this belt off of this pulley. So what I've done initially here is I put 2 pieces of 2x3 lumber, 2x4, whatever works for you, up and underneath there, because we want to have this bucket stay in place, and we just want this back half to pivot. So you're going to need some sort of second helper, or I have a setup here that is going to capture this thing so it doesn't fall all the way down. This one's a little bit more tricky to get down to. I might have to end up taking this wheel off, which I don't want to do. Or I can just get in there with a 1/2-inch wrench or socket and do it that way. Because again, I'm just going to try and loosen this one. I'm not going to take it off all the way if I can help it. Just enough that I can pivot this whole back end of the machine. So hopefully that's enough. I'll just do the other side. There we go. Excellent. So now we're going to have easy access to this belt where we can just pull it right off this pulley here. No problem. Okay. Now let's take a look, compare the two belts. It's probably stretched a bit. It'd be hard to get a true comparison, but anyways, you can see there's also definitely extra meat or width. So this definitely, that left one is definitely worn down a bit. So just the reverse to get it on. Obviously, here's the kind of the problem is you need to kind of hold this up while you're putting this thing back together. This is where a second set of hands would help to hold this up in place on that pulley, and then have your partner move the whole machine back forward again, and so at least you could get a couple of these bolts started. So this is going to be a little bit tricky with one person, but we'll see how we do here. All right, so I tightened these down pretty much almost hand tight, but there's still a little bit of play so that this thing can continue to move forward. And the beauty thing about this scissor jack table is that I can just pump up and get the table up higher and higher and higher, and that will tilt the machine further and further forward. So that's all good. The one other thing you want to make sure you do, guys, when you're trying to put this back together is to go ahead and somehow tie down the Auger drive handle. And what that does is it actually, like I said, it actually moves this this pulley, this tensioner that way, which moves this brake assembly this way, and it helps to clear the brake against this pulley. So this is as far back as it will go. Now there's plenty of room for this to clear that, and as I am pulling up to try and keep this belt in place on this pulley, I will go ahead and get this, bring this back half forward, and then go ahead and put one of the bolts in here. Try and keep this here like that, and okay, so that's like that. All you need to do is get one of these bolts in, guys, or get it started, and then that'll hold it in place while you get the rest of it in place. Now from here, you can go ahead and you can see that new belt is actually attached in between the brake and the pulley, so that's looking good. And as you can see, as far as distance, there's not as much slop in here at all. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and release the brake up top here, or not the brake, well, it is part of the brake, but the auger engagement. Okay, and this belt is going to go up and over, and I'm going to show you how to get that on here in just a second. But for now, I just want to get the rest of this machine put back together. So I'll put in the rest of these bolts, and I'll come back and I'll show you how to get this belt on the pulley here. Alright guys, so that's good. Alright, so now to get this on, alright, what we're going to need to do is first disconnect the spark plug, because what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to pull the cord Okay, you can see when I pull the cord, this rotates this way. So what I'm going to do is start by trying to get this end onto the pulley, as far onto it as I can. And as I'm holding pressure on this, just watch your fingers so you don't pinch your fingers. You're going to pull on the rope, right, to turn this pulley and hold the pressure on there as it's going. And you can see eventually it just gets to a point where it just slips right on. And there you go. All right. Now, you can see there's not nearly as much slop as there was before. There should still be a little bit, because if it's fully engaged, then what's going to happen is this pulley is going to constantly be turning as this is turning, because this is always turning right here. And we don't want that too much tension. So this one, unfortunately, it has probably a little more tension than I'd like. I'd like there to be a little bit more slack here, honestly. But we'll see once we fire this thing up if this is running all the time. Now you can't, unfortunately, you can't put less tension on that. The belt size is the belt size, and unless, you know, I got the wrong belt size, which I don't think, then unfortunately this is going to, you know, continuously be rotating, which I don't want. That's a safety issue, obviously. Now there is that, you know, there is this guy that does put that brake on, so that should keep that, you know, some you know, restriction on this particular pulley. But we'll see if it's going to rotate here. But anyways, that's how you change this belt, guys. I'm going to go ahead and test this out, but hopefully this was informative, and if you maybe learned something and you liked the video, please show me a little love. Smash the like button down below. If there's any questions I can answer for you, go ahead and put those down below. I read all the comments, and I'll try and get back to you as quickly as possible. So until our next project, take care.